This is a very important point in the lecture. It's going to solve some major problems. Original light velocity, the speed of light, was not restricted to 186,000 miles per second. Mainline physicists have known that various origins models require light to have near infinite velocity at the outset. Now, Australian physicist Barry Setterfield explains how this could be possible. This physicist was here as a lecturer just some 6 weeks ago. He's a personal friend of mine, has been for over 40 years, Barry Setterfield. We're quoting him. Light is an electromagnetic entity. As such, light is affected by the 0-point energy. What on earth is 0-point energy? That is the energy resident in space in a vacuum without any physical particles at absolute zero, where atoms don't vibrate anymore, where they're just there. They're not doing anything. Absolute zero. So it's called 0-point energy. Physicists have measured and verified again and again that throughout the universe, inside your body, throughout the entire universe, space, everywhere, at 0 degrees, at that point, there is still an incredible amount of energy, even though matter can't move. As such, it is affected by the 0-point energy in a vacuum of space at absolute 0 degrees. And all the virtual particles in the vacuum it has to negotiate in its journey. What they have learned is that even though atoms are not moving, there is so much energy there that particles pop in and out of existence, because the energy backfields, they just pop in and out of existence. And light has to go through that, plus whatever's there at higher temperatures. When the universe started, there was almost no vertical particles. How do we know? What I did this morning was do what I learned from Barry Setterfield. I took a larger rubber band and I threw it out like that with energy. But it was not precision energy. I just threw it out. It got to the third row exactly where you're sitting. Then I took another one just like it. And I expended more energy by stretching it, and I expended precise energy by stretching it, and, well, that went halfway to the back. The point illustrated was, with a fabric, and space has fabric, with a fabric, if I stretch that fabric with energy, I impart that energy to the fabric. So the more I stretch it, the more energy I've given it. The Bible states that during the week of creation, Psalm 104 verse 2, Isaiah 40 verse 20, during the week of creation, God stretched out the heavens. Psalm 18, 2 Samuel 22 state that during the week of the flood, God stretched out the heavens again. Every time God stretched out the heavens, only He can do it. Every time God stretched out the fabric of space, He imparted energy, and thus there was more energy as time went on than there was to begin with. He imparted energy, so more virtual particles popped in and out of existence. First it was here and there, now it was there. Now everywhere, virtual particles, and that has been observed by physical experiments. Barry Setterfield says when the universe started, there were almost no virtual particles. However, the fact that 0-point energy has increased, and we know the factor by which it has increased by the energy present and by the dimensions of space, that means that the speed of light was initially much faster than it now is as well. The reason is the expansion of space. As the stretching of the cosmos went on, more and more energy was invested in space, so the 0-point energy built up in space got thicker with virtual particles as their numbers in a given volume increased. In the early cosmos, only a few virtual particles existed to slow the light photons in transit by absorption and re-emission. When it hits one of those, it's absorbed and re-emitted. Later, increasing particle numbers slowed light photons significantly. While they exist, virtual particles, particle pairs, are able to absorb a traveling photon of light. However, the moment they slam back together, that photon is re-emitted and goes on its way until it hits another virtual particle. So the progress of light through space is like a runner going over hurdles. The more hurdles he has to jump, the slower is his running time. As a result, it can be stated, quoting Barry Setterfield, that at creation, with almost no stretching or expansion, the speed of light was just over 3 billion times faster than now, calculated from the size of the universe and the rate of its current expansion. Light reached Earth from the quasar at the center of our galaxy in 3.7 minutes. Now it takes 8 minutes for light to get here from the sun. So at that point, from the center of the Milky Way galaxy, only 3.5 minutes to get here. The whole extent of our galaxy was illuminated in less than 15 minutes by that quasar. Light from the most distant parts of the cosmos reached us in less than 10,000 years if we apply the current rate of expansion, and it could have been faster than that. Editor's note, so I'm not quoting Barry Setterfield here. Psalm 104 verse 2 and Isaiah 40 verse 22 state that God stretched out the heavens during the creation week. Psalm 18, 2 Samuel 22 states that God again stretched out the heavens during the year of the flood. It is therefore plausible that by the 6th day of creation, when Adam was created, light from the most distant galaxies could be observed on the earth, and certainly within the lifetime of Adam, they could be observed.